Wow. You know what? I am so touched and blessed by all of you, and so happy to see you take the time out of, every one of us has a very busy schedule, and yet you took the time out to make a statement today, and that is so important. So God bless you, and thank you for what you've done today.
Yeah.
And to the priest here today, God bless you. Thank you. Where's Father Tim? There's another father from Indiana, too. Father Joseph, Father Tom, Father Tim. You know what, you guys, we are so blessed to have leadership like that. And speaking of leadership, are you familiar with, I'm sure, Bill Donahue, who was with the Catholic League? Yeah, I love that guy. Well, I am filling in for Sean Hannity on the 6th, July 6th, next Friday, and I have asked Bill Donahue to be on the program, and he agreed, so you may want to tune in at 4 o'clock. I love him. You know, the thing is that Bill Donahue and so many of us, all of us, are here for such a time as this. Did you think about that? That God has placed each one of us purposely, not by chance, not by mistake, but purposely placed us where we are right now at this time. We, you and I, are here for such a time as this. Do you believe that?
Yeah.
Can you feel that? I feel that in the very core of my being, that there is no doubt that there is a work for me to do, and I believe for each one of you here today to do. Do you feel that? Do you believe that? We, every one of us, we are the key to healing this nation. No one else, nothing else. We are the key. God has purposed us to be here to do something. So yes, you know what? I got a lot of emails from people this week, very dismayed, very discouraged, and I share that dismay. I mean, we have a Supreme Court who failed to uphold our Constitution. That is shameful. That is absolutely shameful. But you know what? I thought about it, and they're trying to bring us down. They really are. The left, the liberals, those who have been charged to protect our Constitution and protect this country, they are taking us down. They're trying. But I'm going to ask you something. If someone wanted to take you down, are you just going to go down, or are you going down screaming and clawing and biting and scratching and yelling? That's what we're going to do. They think they saw something in 2010. They ain't seen nothing yet. You know, there's an old saying, I think it was Eleanor Roosevelt that said this, that a woman is like a tea bag. You don't know how strong she is until she's in hot water. Well, let me tell you something. This country, you and I, the patriots here in this country are like tea bags. They don't know how strong we are until we're in hot water. And you know what? Obama knows this, and this is, if I really wanted to be on the air this week. We are on vacation, but I wanted to be here even though I'm on vacation because this is so important to me. And God bless all of you for being here. But Obama is so afraid. You know, some people were speculating that he was looking a little depressed last week because he knew what the outcome was. And they were expecting that he was depressed because he thought the outcome would be that this was ruled unconstitutional. I'm thinking that he's a little depressed because he knows that this health care issue was the issue of the time during right before the 2010 elections. That's why he's depressed. I think he's depressed. And I'm going to tell you something else. This is how I know it. Because in his speech, the day that the Supreme Court handed down their decision, here is something that he said. Now listen to this. He said, what the country can't afford to do is refight the battles of 2 years ago. Is that amazing? He said it. Check it out. We have got to fight to preserve the Constitution and our liberties. And we can do this. Think about this. The year was 1787. The place was the State House in Philadelphia. The same location of the Declaration of Independence and where it had been signed just 11 years earlier. For 4 months, 55 delegates from several states met for 4 months. This was not something they took lightly. They gave up 4 months of their time, and we know the fate of many of them, right? 4 months, 55 delegates got together to put together and frame a constitution for a federal republic.
Yeah.
God bless them. And when Benjamin Franklin left Independence Hall, when the Constitutional Convention came to an end, on that final day of deliberation in 1787, a woman stopped him to ask, "Well, doctor, what have we got? A monarchy or a republic?" And Benjamin replied, "A republic, if you can keep it." We are still a republic. We are attacked. That republic may be hanging by a thread at times, it appears, but we are still a republic. And the question remains today, can you keep it?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, we can. And we will. Do not be discouraged by what happened. It is very sad to hear. It was very dismal what the Supreme Court did. But this has been something that is lighting a fire under everyone. Believe me, I'm hearing it from everyone, everywhere. Even Democrats, even liberals, they are very upset about what's happening right now. Be encouraged by this. This is our battle. If we don't fight this, who's going to fight this battle? There's no one else to do this. This is our battle. And you know what? Just like our founding fathers, who didn't know you and didn't know you, they went to fight for your constitutional liberties and your constitutional rights. They didn't know you. We are fighting this battle today for children, for generations that we will never know. We will sacrifice, just as the founding fathers have, for those children that we will never, ever know. Are you up for this? Yes, we can. We owe it to our founding fathers. We owe them a lifetime, the rest of our lifetimes, a steadfast dedication to preserving our Constitution and our liberties. And that starts right here with each one of us. You know, there's an old saying, I think it was Carl Schurz that said, "My country, right or wrong. If right, to be kept right. If wrong, to be made right." It is time to make our country right again. You know, Thomas Paine said a lot of really smart things, and one of the things that I appreciated the most is when he talked about the struggle that they found themselves in during that time. It's the same struggle that we find ourselves in right now. And we know, as he did, that what we obtain too cheap, we esteem too lightly. And it may be that we just have not had to work up until now, but we do understand the value in maintaining our liberties. And it's what we hold dearest that has the greatest value. If asked what it is that you and I value the most, what it is that we would like to leave as an inheritance to our children because we love them so much, what would it be? Would it be that beautiful antique clock? Would it be a sports car? Jewelry, diamonds, gold? What is it that we want to leave our children as an inheritance? It is freedom. It is freedom that we must leave our children. That is exactly right. And isn't that worth any sacrifice that we could make for our children?
Right.
In a few days we celebrate the 4th of July, Independence Day. And as we do, I'd like you to think about this. Remembering that we are the keys to restoring this great nation. I'll tell you a little story. Most of you know it. But it's good to reflect upon this. In the early days of July 1776, the Continental Congress met. It was the most radical event, not only of that time, but of all time. Think about it. the Continental Congress meant. It was radical. They knew it. 13 colonies were about to become the new nation of the United States of America. Wow. Everyone in that room agreed that this was something that needed to be done. What they didn't agree on, though, and you may not know this, was the timing. They said, yes, it needs to be done, but does it need to be done right now? So there was a lot of deliberation going on. Finally, a godly man, as most of them were, John Witherspoon got up, and he made an appeal to the people in that room. He said this: there is a tide in the affairs of men. We perceive it now before us. To hesitate is to consent to our own slavery.
Hey.
Don't you have that same sense right now?
Yes.
That there is a fleeting opportunity before us? And that's why we're here today. Let me say that Witherspoon finished his appeal, and the delegates immediately approved the Declaration of Independence. And when they were done, the historians tell us that they began to weep openly. And many of them bowed down in prayer as soon as they signed that. And you think about it, they were educated men, they were articulate men, they wrote this declaration. They were brave men because many of them faced terrible things, and they knew they might after having signed the Declaration. And they were spiritual men because they recognized that God and God alone is the author of our liberty.
Yes!
And yet these educated, articulate, brave, and spiritual men wept. They wept. They wept because they recognized that they were once slaves and were now free. And I want to ask you something. If they were here today, would they not be weeping once again?
Yeah.
But this time because we were once free and now may be slaves to an oppressive government. We must stop the madness.
Yes! Stop it.
It should not be said of us that we were once free and are now slaves. Rather, let it be said what Ronald Reagan once said, and I think this is so appropriate for each one of us. He said, let us be sure that those who come after us will say of us that in our time we did everything that we could do. We finished the race. We kept them free. We kept the faith. Let us together pledge right now to do everything for that person on our right and that person on our left to keep them free. For those children that we love and our children's children, let us pledge to do everything within our power to keep them free. We are here for such a time as this. Do not waste a moment. Find out what it is that God has for you, because He's got something, and get busy doing it. God bless you all. Thank you for coming today.